Hey guys, it's HDO Mario, and we're going to be reviewing another replay this evening. I'm going to be trying to do a lot of these. If you have a replay you want me to look over, email me at hfmario@yahoo.com. I'll try to get as many replays as I can. I'll try to keep it going to where I keep going in between people. So if you send me a bunch, I might just pick one and go with it. Just to make sure that I can help everyone and give them some insight on something they need. But if it's slow, I'll go back and help people who send multiple replays or so forth. So far, I've gotten a pretty nice turnout, but there's definitely a chance that if you send me a replay that I can help you, and I definitely want to. So this replay, we're looking at this Terran player. I do not know how to pronounce his name, but he said that he's a Diamond Terran player, and he's trying to push for Master League. I think this is a Korean game. He says that he's trying to work with 15 gas, marine tank, and a fast expand against Terran players, which is, I think it's a great opener. However, I do think it leaves you weak to some specific things, like Proxy Marauder could be a little difficult, if it goes unscouted. Marine Hellion could be a little bit difficult, but not if you go straight away for the Siege Tank and the Marines, and you play more defensive up the ramp and you have a wall-off type play. So, although it's relatively safe strategy as long as you know what's coming and you adapt to it. If they are going for gas first, then you can mimic them. If they're going Hellions, you can go Hellions. If they're going for a Raven, you can kind of skip the Siege Tank and maybe get a single Widow Mine, but then go for, your own Raven. Or maybe even a Medevac. If they're going for Ravens, you can go Medevacs. If they're going for Banshees, you need Vikings and Ravens to kind of defend yourself. So this player is deciding to scout at 13. Or no, is he actually going for the expansion? No, he's looking for a proxy, which is, it's pretty good. He kind of could have missed this spot, I think, but generally you would also want to go up here if you're looking for a proxy and in this location. You have two choices when you scout, and that is to either go straight across the map into their base to see if there's something there, or you just check all the nearby proxies, and that will help you, kind of define what's going on. Alright, so in his base, he is going for a wall off, 15 gas. It was a 12 barracks, it was a 10 supply depot. So that's fairly standard, and this SCV is going to kind of come up this ramp and you see the supply depot, so it makes me think kind of like gas first. And here it is gas first. The reason why we thought that is because there wasn't a marine out yet, so his timing, his scouting timing, is fairly good. Usually you want to scout around 13, 14 minutes, so that's a great timing he's got there. His opener seems pretty powerful. He's gonna be able to drop a reactor, and if he wants, he can take a single guy out of the gas geyser and get a slightly earlier command center because he knows his opponent, in some sense, is going to be aggressive. I think he's trying to scout out the gas, and he was able to see it. It's slightly late. The gas geyser, you want it kind of halfway to finished before the starport is done, and although he didn't pull out of gas, his command center is down at a reasonable time. But now, one of the reasons why I say pull a little bit out of gas is you'll notice is that he's just got just barely enough for this factory, but he's going to need another supply depot soon and two Marines. So the two Marines are going to pop out. And now he's going to drop his supply depot right away, and it's a really, really, really tight build order. But if you take this SCV off of the gas for about 2 trips for minerals and then put them back on, although your tech is only slightly behind, it does give you still have to count in the defender's advantage. It makes this a little bit less of a tight build order, although he seemed to be able to pull it off really nicely, so very, very well on his part. His build order is extremely tight. I like that. Needs to drop a starport. There we go. He's going for a Widow Mine. If you're opening up 15 gas, I kind of don't like the Widow Mine. Although it's not a terrible decision if they're going Banshee. We did see that his gas geyser was late, so if there was a Banshee, you definitely have time. I really like the whole getting a Hellion or a Siege tank type deal. Not so much the Siege tank because you need the gas, but the Hellion because if he's going for Marine Hellion and he cancels that other gas geyser, which was well within the realm of possibility, you're actually a little bit weak to aggressive playing. He doesn't have the Watchtower. Odds are that if they're going gas first, they do not have the Watchtower, and he does not. So I would use at least one Marine here, or at the bare minimum, use a Marine over here. This Widow Mine is kind of going to the front. I would imagine that you want to try to drop it from the positioning that you're placing it. I like the bunker up the front. I definitely think they should have been up there a little bit earlier, to be honest. But oh, you just okay, so you just repositioned that. A second win of mine, so it definitely feels like a drop. The engineering bay is gonna finish around the proper time, but you did drop 2 mules, which means a Banshee can fly in at about 15 seconds, I would think. I mean, the Raven's already been done for a while, 20 seconds, cross the map. You know, the Banshee could be here in just a moment. You wouldn't have any detection. But going for the blind missile turrets, I really don't like that. It's not my type of thing. Maybe one blind one in your mineral line, in your main, but not so much in the natural. I think that you're investing too much into this, and especially you are supply blocking yourself, which is a bit of an issue, but at the same time, you're spreading your Widow Mines in a way that doesn't really protect much. Like, if he goes up here, okay, but you know, he's trapped between 2 missile turrets, and you can scan and kill him over here. There's no reason that the Banshee could, you know, really come over here. It would kind of come in this direction, so maybe put like a turret or a Widow Mine here, and a Widow Mine here, or a Widow Mine in this location, so you can see if he's trying to go for your back minerals, and a Widow Mine in this location, or even by the watchtower, so you can try to see if he's crossing the map to attack you, and then having like a marine there to give you vision. Overall, I really don't like the position of the Widow Mines, and I think that if you're going to get 2 of them, they're better off to be attempted to be dropped unless you place them in really good spots, and I just don't like the locations that they're placed in now. With this refinery this late, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of an earlier third command center. You're not able to produce too much off of a late second gas established refinery. You know, you're gonna need a third one to kind of be able to produce off of these at a consistent, regular basis. But if you've already stockpiled a little gas because you got the refinery a little earlier, then you know it's not as big of a deal because you'll be able to squeeze in that third command center earlier, which he does have the minerals for. But he's also close on supply blocks. Like, at this stage, when he's producing out of 3 structures at a regular basis, it's best to make 2 supplies at a time. So he's going for a bio-style play. I do like this, but I also think that he could have dropped the command center first. There was so much time. He's still really close. He's kind of, you know, the single SEV, 50 minerals here, was hindering him for a moment to be able to make it. A little bit of a supply block. He still doesn't quite need this gas, though. He could kind of squeeze these out in rotations. Nothing really to look over the map. I mean, there's nothing to really tell him except for this Widow Mine. I guess if he crossed the map earlier, though, there wouldn't have been really anything telling that his army was here. We do have a Doom drop coming, so that's going to be interesting. Patrol, pretty good. I like the siege tank in this location, but I would prefer that you have more vision. This is kind of a popular build since it was popularized in I forgot which tournament, but it was by I think it was done against Flash. A lot of Koreans started using it when they started seeing it. Overall, it's made a lot of appearances. Somebody out there has a really big dick because they're going really fast on their motorcycle for no reason. But it's made a lot of appearances on ladder. I've seen it myself. So it is something to be aware of, and it's easier to be aware of it when you hold the watchtowers and you keep a unit here, maybe a unit here, maybe a unit here. So, although he did hold it, and it was great, I still feel that he needed more map presence. And these Widow Mines, if the Widow Mine was in this location, it wouldn't have done nearly as much damage. You would have been able to kill the Medivacs earlier. With the Vikings, you know, there would have been less healing. There probably could have been able to kill a few units on the inside. I do like the counterattack because he did lose air control. He did not have any air control, he just had Medivacs. And now he just made 2 Vikings, which was clever from his opponent. But, yeah. From here, I do not like the frontal attack. You see, you don't quite have a lot of units, and in this early phase, the defender's advantage is quite huge, since he has no idea you're coming. Going around and sieging at the back of his mineral lines with the Viking support is actually not that bad of a decision, and then you can use your medevac to kind of drop some marines over. He does have it in position over here, but there's no way of you knowing that. Let's take a look. You're gonna get shelled pretty close. You don't really have map control. Gotta split up those marines. There's nothing you can do in this location, so you're really throwing away your army here. You had a nice little lead, but right now you're losing your army because of actually attacking into this position. This was a nice pickup. It wasn't bad at all. But now it's time to pick up and go home. You definitely shouldn't have attacked into there. At least, you know, you could have kind of poked here, but before you do an attack, you always want to scout. If you can, if it's at the opponent's base, you want to be safe. You don't want to walk into siege tank lines, get half your marines blown up, and then be severely far behind. Your third command center, I feel, is insanely late, and your opponent, you know, he's definitely got his on the way, and then he's exploding into three more barracks. I don't quite like that as a normal play, but he's so far ahead in terms of how much he's able to spend because of, I don't know if it was poor macro or something, but he's definitely got a lot more money than you. Come to think of it, it is the 12-minute mark, so you should have more finances. You should at least, at this stage, once your third command center goes down, you want to drop 2 extra barracks. You want to go up to 5 barracks pretty fast if you can help it. I like to go for another siege tank afterwards once this upgrade gets done for combat shield. That's kind of a personal preference. I really like 2 factory 5 barracks play and then going up to maybe 3 factory or 8 barracks. It kind of depends on how I feel the opponent is doing. If he's going for heavy marines, I'll try to mimic the marines a little bit. But if he's going for heavy siege tanks, then I'll you know, try to dedicate a little bit more than him. Dropping, you've got nice scouting locations. This is a lot better. You're in a much better position now. You're in this production. I definitely like this attack. You need to send your marines a little forward and split them up a little bit more. No, you should have sent them all forward. You might lose the siege tank. Go, 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 go. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Should have definitely gone and killed that siege tank. You can drop on top of it. You can do a lot of damage to it. A little bit of multitasking mistakes. I mean, you have more minerals than your opponent, and you're queuing a bit more, I think. No, you're not. Your opponent just has a lot more minerals than you. Although you have more capabilities, well, excluding the third orbital command, but you're still 15 workers ahead. You should be able to produce more, and your opponent should be able to produce more. So I feel like one of the reasons why you're really pushing into this is he's forgetting production cycles, and it does look like he's forgetting a lot of production cycles. Like he's making it the actual buildings, but he's not actually using them. I do like the little tiny play here, but only if you still had this. If it was still pressuring, I would move in a little bit, put like a little siege location here so he couldn't transfer workers. But as it stands now, you're right to back up. I don't like this space as much. I more so like this space. However, if you have eyes on this side of the map, this space is superior. Just for the fact that you can kind of keep forces in this area and help stop doom drops. You know, just kind of stimming over and killing medevacs, but you're weak to this entire right side. So it helps you prevent doom drops, and it helps you get reinforcements earlier after they're rallied. You know, you can rally them to the watchtower. You can help reinforce his base easier, but you are weaker to doom drops on this side and just flat out attack pushes, you know, coming through the rocks or through here. So you definitely need to be able to see. I wouldn't send everything to go ahead and get that watchtower. It's a little, you know, he could be trying to draw you out of position, although you still are able to see off of this side. You can't see anything over here. I would spread my marines out a little bit more. Definitely more map vision, I think, and positioning and map vision seems to be a keyword in this specific game. I do like the second factory, definitely good. You're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barracks, so not terrible. You know, it's in a pretty good situation. You want to split up your marines a little bit more when you're sieging. It's not a fight you should have taken. Um, you are ahead in supply, but just from looking at the start of that battle, you wouldn't have had enough. You got to siege a little bit earlier, kind of scare him. You can siege in that location and then, you know, rally to a different one and try to get him to pull more forces than necessary. And if he, you know, undercommits, then, you know, you pull through on one side and the other. But you want to get him to walk into siege tank lines, but you kind of gave him a leeway there. And this medevac has been AFK for quite some time, which is actually huge. It's huge. You know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supply, and Marines are 1 supply each. So you've got 5 supply, and then the medevac 2 supply. You've got 7 supply of units just sitting there. Hopefully you catch up with this. which will help. Anytime I'm doing a Doom Drop, though, you should, or I feel like anytime you're doing a Doom Drop, you should rally inside your main. I mean, you're preparing for your own Doom Drop with the turrets, but you should be rallying like right here, just in case, you know, he pushes with his whole army up front, and you're trying to control this Doom Drop at the same time. Oh, you should lead with empty Medivacs. This, you know, you're trying to control these units at the same time as trying to Doom Drop, and if you have everything up here, you can just siege and pull back, and it's just a lot less to think about. This is a pretty good position, but you needed to pull a little bit more forward with your tanks, I feel. You probably could have gone to this line, just siege them. As we mentioned, now you have to spend your time pulling everything away over here, and over here, and over here. But if you already had your rally points set to this location, it's just less to do in general. You know, instead of moving these first, you could have moved this first, which he's actually not chasing, which is a huge mistake. So great on you. You kind of want to spend a scan, see what's down the ramp, rush down, kill the orbital commands if you can so help it. Positioning at the top of the ramp is fine. You had to fix your rally points a little bit earlier. Third command or fourth command center, that's pretty nice. But he's trying to go for a Doom Drop. You got a siege tank coming out here, which is bad. You gotta hurry and rush that. No, you should have kept pulling that back, I think. I mean, it's great that he didn't push into it, but he could have gotten it, and then you would have been weaker in general. I do not like the push out here. I do not feel like this is necessary at all. You're definitely losing more Marines. You did win the game, but I do feel like there were quite a few issues you could have been improved on. So I don't feel like you should have been pushing down at the side at all. There was no hurry. You know, this base is almost mined out. This base, actually, yeah, they're both pretty mined out almost, but you don't have to sacrifice everything here. It's up to him to attack into you since you're taking out everything inside of his base. These were kind of left behind. But overall, you want to move this too, by the way, once you're safe. But overall, I think the biggest weaknesses were positioning, having your units in the right place, definitely making your build order a little crisper on your transitions. Over in general, the opening build order was pretty solid, but you could have transitioned into a third command center earlier and into earlier barracks earlier, and a little bit better positioning on some of your aggressive maneuvers, spread the Marines out a little bit faster, siege a little bit faster. So there are tiny details I feel that are definitely holding you back that you could improve on. You know, like attacking down here. If he had a little bit more, he could have just crushed that and pushed all the way up, and then ended up killing you. Or at least forcing a more giant base trade, you know, if he was higher in supply. But in general, if it does come down to a base race, anyone can still win, and you don't want to throw away units. You want to be as conservative as possible. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you take the advice. I'm not sure what to call you, so I'm just going to call you the Green Man, because, you know, right now you're the color green. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, tweet me. Tweeting works better. I check my Twitter a lot. So feel free to tweet at me at HF Mario, and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.